Parks Construction Management Services LLC requests approval of the monitoring report for the development of 17,108 square feet and installation of 212.25 feet of utilities on Guadalupe Street in the Grove Downtown Archaeological Review District. Thank you for the staff report, Charlie. Anything to add to that?
No, Chair, nothing to add. Chair, actually, I'll just add that you can noted what has been added in this case. And you notice that has not, the formal analysis is not added. Okay.
Thank you. Presumably we have no representative of the applicant, so we can move to committee members. Do you have any observations, thoughts, recommendations?
Do you have to have somebody representing?
No.
I have nothing on this.
Number two.
Well, of course, it's unfortunate that we never got the formal results, but other than that, I don't believe I have any further comment. I think we missed it, Jeff.
I think for the record, this is when the final materials were sent off and was lost.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Or at least never reported on and never returned.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the situation.
Sorry, I was just scrolling through. I did not have any further comment.
So I have no comments on that. I agree. It had, it's not done.
Checking all the flags here just in case. No comments to make. So, everybody has the time to decide whether to accept the report as is and consider the matter final.
Yeah, don't see a good alternative, so go ahead and put a motion out there that we approve the 5097 as revised.
Second.
Move seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Pierce?
Aye.
Member Zinn?
Yes.
Chair Eck?
Aye.
The motion is approved.
Thank you. Case number 2022-5561. Sierra Railway Services Limited, agent for Jenkins Gavin, request for cultural resources inventory of modern Elder Academy Retreat Ground, 50 Mount Carmel Road, River and Trails, and the Building Archaeological Review District. I believe there's a missing phrase, request approval of.
Yeah, I was looking for that.
Anything else to that?
No, Chair.
Thank you for the staff report. That number one.
I have nothing to add or subtract from this report.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah, I'm scrolling again, so I can see the into the pages. I think in general that the applicant did a very good job of addressing the concerns I had last time. Particularly regarding some of these features that were left as undefined, or either or cases, they made a strong argument one way or the other this time around. I'm pleased with the result.
All right. We can have a motion.
Think about PBS. Go over that to find my case number. I move we approve case 5561, cultural resources inventory of Modern Elder Academy as revised.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call vote,
Member Pierce?
Aye.
Member Zinn?
please. Thank you.
Member Zinn?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair Eck?
Aye.
The motion has been approved.
Thank you. Next item. 2022-5096. Ron Winters, agent for liaison planning, request approval of a survey of testing report for 2.88 acres for development on 1617 and 1625 Castillo de Peralta and Storage Downtown Archaeological Review District. We have staff report, Carly, anything to add to that?
No, Chair.
Thank you. One, you'll have to step forward, meet one in and step around.
I'll go ahead and swear you in.
Oh.
You swear under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Ron Winters, 109 Calle Paula, Santa Fe, New Mexico, 87505.
Thank you.
All right, Ron, what do you need to add to anything you've already provided?
Well, I just want to say the archival research and the results of the initial survey and testing were included in the addendum only because there's a new property owner, and for his benefit, I wanted to let him know what had happened prior to this and why this additional work was required. And I figured the committee was already familiar with it. But I did mainly for the new owner. And so in terms of the 1x2, I measured carefully from the northern end of the trench, it was about 5.5 meters where that peak feature had started, and measured out and laid out a 2 meter length and 1 meter wide trench as was requested. And I got as close to the original trench without having the east wall of the trench just collapse. I didn't want to, it was just a couple centimeters, but I was concerned that, I don't know that that was compacted, the background. And so, and as I went down to each level, I really scrutinized the soil for changing color and consistency. To see, I fully expected to see in plan view, but I didn't see that, and it wasn't until about 35 centimeters that I saw it in the west wall of the trench 6A, and it was gone by 45 centimeters. I think it led me to believe that I just got the east edge of the pit, and the artifact you saw dropped, the number dropped considerably. And there was some that had some age, but it wasn't even as early as some of the material that I found in trench 6. So that's basically it.
Number two.
Yeah, it's just one question, Ron. When I was reading through, it wasn't completely obvious to me which was the new trench. Was it 6A that was
Yeah.
this one? Okay.
Yeah.
That clarifies. I just
Yeah,
wanted to make
6
sure.
was the, found the actually.
Otherwise, I think most of the questions last time came from member Wands and especially Chair X, so I'm just gonna punt them. See if you address his question.
Number two.
You made it, but there's so many factors to draw.
I think I've seen it happen. Yeah. I was planted with block and picked up by the punter and punted again.
Yeah.
All right, then the first question I have is for Carly, and that has to do with the correction of minutes. Because the copy of the minutes that included hopefully at the beginning of this presentation, you can copy what changes made to the minutes.
Chair, I think I added the uncorrected version of the minute. That, it's my mistake. So I'm not sure how much that would have, how much that changed, but I'm sure that changed.
It really doesn't that much. It's just that as I came through it and familiarizing again, I noticed the same things that I had commented on that.
Okay. Thank
That
you.
is the only reason I have. Then There's down all has sticky notes there. And avoid all of those that are flagging things in there. On your,
Mhm.
the management summary, the last sentence of the first paragraph speaks of monitoring. You were doing survey and testing.
Oh. Tell me again, David, where-
The last sentence of the first paragraph of the management summary on the map.
okay.
It just says the monitoring is conducted.
I see.
Page 2 of the report. Last paragraph on that page, sixth line, sixth word. Discrete in this page should be spelled D-I-S-C-R-E-T-E.
Tell me again, one more time, sorry. I was-
The last paragraph on page 2.
Okay.
The address,
Is that the? Oh, okay,
sixth line,
yes. Well.
some reason that word just jumped off the page.
No, I know what you mean.
In your comments just now, you talked about measuring from the north end of the fence
Mhm.
to some distance, 5.5 meters off. You want to read of your figure 24 on page 64 of the document submitted. 5 meters south of the north end of that trench, pretty well misses the location of the feature and the intended purpose of the additional.
Oh. Well, maybe mean, I know what, that I did it on the ground, you know. Maybe I just misquoted the distance. Yeah, because I measured it. In fact, I put this drawing out there. And, you know, I measured off maybe 2.5 meters. Is that?
2.5 is about right.
I think that's probably right.
Then I would request that you modify your figure 26 on page 66 accordingly to put the location of E6A showing the location of this test excavation. It is indeed about 5.5 or 6 meters south of the north end of the trench,
Okay, got it.
where it would be helpful.
Yeah, and I don't know where it came up with that, but I know I didn't bring the drawing with me.
Easy to transfer those numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
So disappointed we didn't find
No,
elephant thumbnails.
yeah. Awkward.
Thank you for the extra attention to this and for taking our suggestion of fixing the amount of testing problem in the most useful way that we could figure out.
Yeah, I appreciate that, yeah.
That is all.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the 5096, with the stipulated minor corrections to effect.
Moved and seconded, roll call vote, please.
Member Pierce,
Aye.
member Zinn.
Yes.
Chair X.
Aye.
The motion has been approved.
Thank you, Ron. We'll bring you back a little later. Now move on to new business. Case number 2022-5785. Office of Archaeological Studies, Agency of the City of Sanitary Water Division, request approval of a monitoring plan for installation of 1,126 feet of water line replacement on Camino Santander. This is that word, so, Camino San Acacio and Camino Don Miguel and Sevilla. To review this. So, that it was spelled correctly there. Anything to add to that?
No, Chair, thank you.
Um, Do you have someone representing the Office of Archaeological Studies and or the city of Santa Fe?
We
Or
do,
is it-
we've got, Stephen Gilbert. Stephen, can you hear us okay?
I can.
Okay. All right, well, we're just gonna turn that down a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I have a loud voice too.
No, it's the system. We feel like we're at a rock concert.
Yeah, it is a little tough to hear Chair Eck, but it's coming through okay.
I'll try to bellow.
You're doing great. Thank you.
Well, what do we need to know?
This is like you mentioned, and the title is pretty self-explanatory. We're installing and replacing some water main segments along Camino Santander, Don Miguel, and a private drive. This project's the city of Santa Fe along with OAS. Other than that, I don't really have anything to say about the content of the report, besides the fact that it's a lot of the same cultural resources that were in my Acequia Madre Flume plan that was presented the last time I was in front of you. And other than that, I just have two corrections that I'd like to point out. The first being on the cover page of the report, it says August 4th under Archaeological Review Committee meeting, and it should clearly be September 1st. And then on page 8, report page 8, there's second paragraph there that starts Arroyo Systems. There's a figure called out in that paragraph, figure 5. I removed the figure and decided I need to put that figure back in and correct the figure number. So that was it's a figure of the FEMA's national flood hazard layer, which isn't covered in the later Arroyo and Acequia's section of my report. And that's all.
All right, thank you. Committee members, number one,
No questions.
member Pierce.
Just one minor thing. See, this would be on report page 41. On the section about the 1950 aerial photograph of Santa Fe. Second line on the page. I think it's missing a word there. Cultivated field to the north and northeast been developed. I think had been developed or have been developed.
Gotcha.
And then, yeah, my only other comment was that, well, thank you for all the aerial photos, you know, over time. 'Cause when you drive through this neighborhood, it looks old, but it's not. Which is a surprise even to me. But otherwise, that's all I have. Thank you.
I have nothing to add. We can draft a motion there.
I move for approval of 5785.
Yep.
As submitted.
I'll second the motion.
Moving seconded, roll call vote, please.
Member Pierce,
Aye.
member Zinn,
Yes.
Chair Eck,
Aye,
the motion is approved.
thank you. All right, Ron, we're back to you. Jump up and come back. You're already sworn in. Case number 2022-5784. Ron Winters, agent for Robert Fulbright, requests approval of a monitoring report for the installation of 203 feet of utilities at Sandoval Street and West de Vargas Street in the historic downtown archaeological review district. Thank you for the staff report. Carly, anything to add?
No, thank you, Chair.
Ron, what do you need to know?
Just that, change in the field conditions, just a change in the procedure and shorten the overall length of the project. And the results, I don't know that it changed much because one of the tests, the bore pit, handhole trenches would have been excavated anyway. But and actually there were two locations then that I could monitor. Because the other one was going to start in the manhole. So, as you see, I included a new map showing the two banks in the total over, which is over a couple hundred feet rather than the 405 or whatever it was originally.
Excellent.
That's it.
All right. Number 10.
No comments.
Number 2.
Yeah, I just have, one question, and this is actually on the staff memo. Under the background and summary section, fifth line down, it mentions historic maps are proposed to be submitted as part of the monitoring report. I'm not sure where that came from. I didn't see it in your report, and I went back to the minutes and I didn't see any mention of us asking you to put in.
That's,
I think
thank
that's
you.
a cut and paste there, maybe, from something else.
It's, thank you, Member Pierce. So that's an error. That is for, a request from staff. So we strike that. That'll be, that is revised and.
That clears up,
Fine.
well, that's my own comment. Thank you.
I have nothing to add. That's a motion.
Move to approve 5784. As submitted.
I'll second.
Moving second, roll call vote, please.
Member Pierce,
Aye.
member Graham.
Yes.
Chair X.
Aye.
The motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now you can sit down in your car.
You can.
All right. Case number 2022-5783, Sierra Railway Services, Agency Jenkins Gavin Incorporated, request approval of a 6.17 acre archaeological survey and inventory report for 3974 Fields Lane in the suburban archaeological review district. Thank you for the staff report. Charlie, anything to add?
None on this one. Thank you, Chair.
Alrighty. We have someone representing, please step forward.
Really one first. You swear under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Trisha Wood, 1821 Chaparral Street, Las Cruces, New Mexico, 88001.
Thank you.
Have a seat and tell us if anything you need to know in addition to what we provided.
I don't think there's a whole lot more. A small survey, I didn't find anything. And so let me know what you guys think.
All right. Member Pierce.
Well, my PDF copy has about 300 comments on it. None of them are mine. Something about your AutoCAD is writing comments to the PDF.
Oh,
So if I did have any, they would be lost in that
I don't
angle. Yeah,
know.
very strange.
Okay.
But I did verify that I don't have any of my own. So.
Interesting. Member
No comments, yeah, I'm just really surprised there weren't any kind of things on what's up there. But just maybe go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering about Santa Fe Trail too. And casual adjunct use of the vicinity by folks tunneling freight on a community towel may pass through the tiny trees and not sufficient to leave anything recognized. Well, what really got me going was your photograph of the undisturbed area at the south end of the property.
Right.
Because I thought I was looking down the road.
Well, you know how, yeah, you can see nuts everywhere.
Right. I've only one thing. That has to do with H1 project area and description of undertaking. In the penultimate sentence in that paragraph, you say activities have potential to impact 100% of the property. I kind of wonder about that because of the arroyo, and I think that's going to prevent anything.
Very likely.
just something quick and then that doesn't add up. And I looked at the map and there's a royal. So. Thank you. There's no blue pencil marks in it.
With the approval of 5783. Yeah.
One second.
Moved and seconded, roll call vote, please.
Member Pierce,
Aye.
member Jim.
Yeah.
Chair.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And presumably, you didn't make a long trip, Jeff, today?
No, I was here.
Good. Item G on the agenda, administrative matters and communication. We have,
Thank you, Chair. Excuse me. So next time we'll have a presentation for the calendar. Because we're working on calendar for next year. We've been adding hearings mid-month as we need them. They've been few per month in the past, but what we may look at doing is just putting a date on there. And then a star being if we have so many hearings, but we would push to the second. And so at least we've got those dates. Jim,
That what you're gonna do.
H4 is always two.
Sometimes, no, take them. Take an application, you're not taking an application.
That's right.
You're-
That's correct. Yeah, and so that's what we'll be looking at for next time, and then we're also looking at the potential early start time if the committee is amenable to that, and based on how quickly this one went, and that we'll have some utility cases on the next one. That maybe 4 o'clock is a reasonable time. I mean, we're at 5 right now with 6 cases, but it's always gamble. It's up to, I think it's a good, right now, the question is out on the table. Is it feasible for the committee to meet at the first October hearing, versus the October hearing at 4 p.m.?
October the fifth.
Either one.
I think I can pull off what, 2 or 3 would be really expensive.
4 o'clock, all right.
That's a reminder of, you know,
I will cancel that one pretty soon, so it will happen. There's anytime there's a slight change to the theme, it's just not like being changed, but it will change and we'll end up attaching it to a new HPD email. So things will be wonderful in the world again. And then one other note about, and this could be, yeah, this is a good spot. So there's a question about the utilities last time. Or I think it was last time or the time before, and about new utility projects and a potential MOA agreement.
Right.
The way the code states it is, any new utility project requires monitoring. It's a pretty quick answer, but just I had to, I'd like to look back at the code and exact answer. That and they're always different every time they go out and finish, or every time, so that's another. So that was, that's just been conveyed back. But on that topic, we did talk about the code update. They're still working on contracting. But once we get to the point where we'll want engagement with the board, that will start happening. Our first part of the phase, first phase. And I think it's like a phase 1, A and B. Those sorts of things. So, but we'll like to look at a lot of different language updates in this committee particularly because there's this speak in the language. So, and I think that's all of that.
All right. Committee members. Time to raise matters. Yourself.
Does I have anything? You want to check that, please? No. I know.
Okay, I very much appreciate them to the applicant. So very much appreciate that. And sometimes.
And I appreciate my help.
All right,
For adjournment.
Second,
moved and seconded, roll call vote, please.
Member Pierce,
aye.
member Quinn,
Yes.
Chair X.
Aye.